Hey, what's up? I'm Ben, and today I am in the shop. As you can see, lots of progress on the truck. That big ball of wires I got to start picking apart, but I got the cab back there. I'm hoping to put that up on some stands and then slide this frame out from under it once I remove the engine tranny and transfer case. I made a video the other day talking about my fuel system from tank to injection pump, and I realized maybe I should go in and just talk about some of the P-pump modifications that I've made as well, because that is definitely an integral part of the fuel system. So first off, as you can tell, this is a P-pump truck. I think it was a 160 horsepower pump, but somebody told me it might have been a 180. I'm pretty sure the truck actually had 160 horsepower though. It's a 1996 with an automatic. I have done basically everything to this pump that you can do without actually changing the internal components, like the barrels or the plungers, I think they're called, and the cam that's in there. When I had the barrels racked recently at a local diesel shop, I think they said they got this up to 460 cc's. I'm pretty sure that's about as high as you can get with one of these pumps without doing drastic modifications to the internal components of it. But anyways, I'm just going to go in and show you what all has been done and what kind of differences it's made and that sort of stuff. So let's get into it. All right, so first things first, underneath these lines is where the delivery valves live. So I have put new delivery valves in from Power Driven Diesel. Those are called the 7mm delivery valves, and then those are going to 5x16 injectors. The barrels have been racked, and what that means is that these two bolts have been undone, and then it's been rotated. The reason why I had it done at a shop is to balance it out, and let me tell you, after getting that done, the thing runs so much smoother. Like, it really used to idle pretty rough, and now it's smoothed it up pretty drastically. In front of that, I've also got a rack plug. This is, I believe, from Michigan Motorsports. Then I've got a TorqueTech overflow valve. This is the 60 horsepower one, or I think it's called an OVO 60 or something like that. Next, inside the AFC, I've got an AFC Max Travel Kit from Power Driven Diesel, and that also includes a modified foot. This is not really much of a modification, but this is a quick release clip that came with the AirDog lift pump kit, and then you can just sort of click this thing on here, which is definitely handy. Then inside, I believe it's underneath this cover here, there is a set of 3 4K governor springs from Power Driven Diesel, which made a dramatic difference. I had all of the modifications pretty much done except for having the barrels racked, and it was like, it was a bit of a difference, and I got that done, and it was like, wow, the truck just became a complete madman at the blink of an eye compared to how it used to be. So incredibly important. But before you do that, I think you got to do valve springs and maybe head gasket and stuff, so definitely do your research. Also, the star wheel in here is absolutely cranked to the max. If anybody knows any other modifications, I'm definitely all ears, but I'm pretty sure that that is what it takes to get, the maximum flow out of a 160 horse P pump without changing, the cam and the plungers and all that kind of thing. Okay, and then finally, these aren't really modifications, but just the way I have this set up. As you can see right there, this AFC is slid all the way forward. It has no fuel plate inside, and the pre-boost screw is all the way in. I mean, I even took the nut off and put it all the way to the end. So this pump is absolutely cranked to the max. And, it's surprising. This is basically a smoke-free truck. It only really smokes if you're heavy on the throttle or in the wrong gear and stomp on it, or, in lockup at a real low RPM and step on it or something like that. But under general driving, basically a smoke-free 12 valve. I do have an AFC Live. It's been interesting, it's definitely a bit of a process to adjust it to every different truck, but the biggest difference I've noticed is fuel economy. If I turn it all the way down to its lowest settings on both knobs, the increase in fuel economy is pretty shocking. Okay, and then the last thing that's been done to this is, which isn't really a pump modification, but it's running at 18 degrees. Originally it was 13 from stock. I might play around a little bit with going up into the 20s. I was under the impression that when you crank up timing in your pump that moves the power band up. But somebody mentioned in a comment once that it also makes the thing snappier. So, you know, if the RPM or if the power's up higher in the RPM band, that's one thing. But if it gets up into that power quicker, then maybe that's something I would be interested in. So I'm definitely going to experiment with that. While I'm here, I'm just going to show something really quick. For those of you who are new to P-pumps, it is a very interesting system. So this line, this is going into the back of the AFC, and then on the other end of it, it's in the side of the head. So as boost from the turbos comes out of there, goes through the intercooler, and then down into this, this is the intake. I got a Banks twin ram. As it goes into there, it's pressurized. So the amount of pressure or boost that is happening is then pushed from here through the line into there. And there's a thing called a diaphragm. This is called a boost reference line. So it just tells the pump in a very simple, mechanical, beautiful way. It tells the pump how much pressure is in the head, and then that in turn tells the pump how much fuel to give out. So there's basically like a rubber, it's like a little pancake looking kind of thing, and as the pressure forces it forward, it pushes more fuel out, which is just so cool. So anyways, that's just a very basic look at how a P-pump works. Obviously there's all sorts of stuff going on. It's basically like a little engine. There's a camshaft spinning. This thing is driven off the motor, so inside behind this cover there's a gear that's, you know, connected to all the other gears, a timing gear I guess you'd call it. And so that is spinning this at the correct RPM with the engine. And then this is based on the amount of boost in the system, it's then telling the pump how much fuel to push out, which is just such a cool system, you know. As I'm going through this old truck, it does still have plenty of electrical stuff on it. I mean, it's very simple compared to a modern vehicle, but you know, there are times where, you know, I kind of wish I was rebuilding something from the 70s where, you know, it didn't have all those electronics going to the transmission and all that kind of stuff. But anyways, it's still very simple compared to modern day stuff, and I am glad. In the next video, I am going to pull the motor out and completely dismantle it. And that way you can have a look at what is all going on the inside of a 12 valve Cummins. So I haven't had this truck on a dyno. I purchased a kit from Power Driven Diesel, a fuel kit. It was an injectors and delivery valves, and might have been some other stuff. But anyways, that was a 700 horsepower kit at the wheels, and they recommended, you know, that you'll probably need to do some pump work to maximize that power level. I'm not sure if I'm quite at that or not. I would imagine with the 400 or 500 pounds of you know, 37-inch dually wheels and tires on the back, that's definitely going to have a huge impact on actual at the tire horsepower output. But with stock tires on here, this thing, it should be, or it's definitely got the parts to be in the 600 to 700 horsepower range at the wheels. So basically that's what I've done. It's an excellent setup. It's been, you know, running great, huge difference from stock. And overall, you know, pretty happy with it and can't wait to keep moving on. So anyways, there's a quick little look at what I've got going on my fuel system on my truck. Thanks for watching.